Hi guys, Jack here, playing Thronefall once again, and we're on the last map here, which is Uferwind. It's a really cool map because, as you can see, you need to buy bridges to connect to all of your islands, which I think is really fun and a cool design. For perks, we have the Lightning Staff, Arcane Towers, Commander Mode, Big Harbor, and no challenges. Our perks for Arcane Towers is plus 33% range and damage for towers. Commander Mode is 40% damage to buildings and units, but your king does 60% less. And Big Harbors is plus 2 boats and double health the harbors when you upgrade them, and they spawn with a boat. Lightning Staff, which is our weapon, not the perk, does this. You can see when in my passive attack it just shoots low lightnings that jump between targets as long as they have enough distance, but they're also not too far away. And then my special attack, whew, does some good damage. It's basically a time bomb. You plant it, after a couple seconds it goes off, and it does some good damage. I'd say this weapon is interesting because the special attack is quite good, as you can see, but the normal attack is not great. Go for a blacksmith purchase there, and I go for a ranged purchase upgrade just because it's so helpful if your towers and archers do more damage, because I find that that's the predominant source of damage that you have. I go by a mill here and I just get the improved plows, so every time I upgrade it I'll get some more money. And then we're on to night 2. As you can see, I get in a little bit of trouble there. Those archers really deal some serious damage against units, however they're really bad against buildings. I managed to kill a few of them, and so it's just archers left when I die again, but it's okay. And both times we die, we do manage to get a good time attack down, which is nice. I upgrade my town center and I get Assassin's Training, which is 100% damage to me, which is useful, but more importantly, it makes your special attack have half cooldown if you use it right away after it starts, which is pretty good considering that the special attack is really your main source of damage for this. You can see there this map has like special hero units, which is pretty cool, and the one that's available is a medic and then a golem, which is interesting, and you'll see next night I actually buy the golem, and they're a pretty interesting looking guy. This night we have a Fury spawning, which are these giant winged creatures. We get a couple good time attacks on them, and then they get in range of our towers, and they take care of them pretty good. He manages to take out one of my buildings, which is a little annoying, so I only get 87% protected. You can see I upgraded my harbor to the big one there, just so it has some more health, which is useful for when there's flying creatures coming from the sea. And then it also just allows you to get some more. I go for a few more fields because fields are a great source of money, and then all the attackers are coming from the south. You see, I almost get into a little bit of trouble there, but we get away just in time. And this is my first time using fire archers, and they're pretty cool, especially if you have like walls or gates or something and the enemy clusters up in front of it. It does some serious damage because they stand in the fire, and it's pretty good. Not too much of a challenge. We lose one watchtower and our archers, but of course they'll come back and we don't die, so that's pretty good. As you can see, this round things are coming from the sea, so it's a good thing I upgraded that harbor. And then we got our our ranged attack upgrade, which is good. And I go for another one. I go for a defensive upgrade, which is always good. And then, like I mentioned last round, there's enemies coming from the sea, so I'm making sure to purchase lots of towers to take them out. There's horsemen also coming from the north, so I go over there to deal with them. I also buy the golem that I was talking about. And then as you can see, these guys, I do not do very much damage against them, so it's good we have all of these towers. We do get a pretty nice special attack there, and as you can see with that assassin training, the timer is only half, which makes a big difference for damage. I go check and see how the rest of my area is doing, and it looks like the archers managed to kill all of them except for one, which is pretty good. I kite him into my attack, and then he's done. Here we get a cool melee unit, which again I haven't used before, which is the Vikings. And these guys are awesome because they target ogres and siege weapons. And you might have seen that sometimes those catapults can cause some serious damage if nobody's there to target them, and since I have almost no damage, it's great that they will do that. I go for a castle upgrade, and I get castle up, which all of your towers and walls that you bought, so as long as they're standing, their upgrades decrease by 1 per day. So since this map has a lot of towers and I have quite a few up, it's actually a really good discount. Unfortunately, I get shot in the head there and I die, but oh well. This round I decided to buy the gates, and it looks pretty good. I like the little palisade wall. All the enemies are coming from the south, and so I spread my units around, and these witches have splash damage, so I spread my units around a bit, and you'll see there's a couple melee units sitting by them, and those are hopefully just to draw the witch's fire. I also buy another harbor up in the north now that I've upgraded my town center, which is always good. As you can see, they've killed all the melee units in front, and now they're starting to take over the archers. But I do a couple good time attacks, and they're pretty much all dead. Only a few watchtowers down, nothing major. Pretty good protection. This round, enemies are coming from the sea again, so I decided to buy more watchtowers, throw a few more archers around. You know, the fire archers are great, but I do love the longbowmen, and especially if creatures are coming from the sea, your fire arrows aren't going to do anything, and they have a lower damage than the longbowmen. I decided to buy some more mills, and the scarecrow upgrade is actually really good. The attack that comes off of the fields from the scarecrows against ground units is not great, but against any flying unit, it absolutely shreds them, and you'll see that here. It pretty much one-shots them, which is great. In the west here, there's a bunch of ground units that spawn, so I put all of my forces over there for melee, and they got cleared up pretty good, so no real problem. Buying more mills, more scarecrows, just because it's always nice to have more anti-air guns. Tell that to the Germans in World War II. I'm sure they would have liked more. And just spreading my units around behind the wall so every monster has a chance to get set on fire by them. Buying a few more towers so that they hopefully can get the upgrade for a day or two. And as you can see, everything's looking pretty nice. More archers again because I thought I looked a little light in the north. And then I spread everything around. You can see I'm not doing too much damage, it's mostly my units, and the scarecrow attacks still do a pretty good amount against ground units too, so I think it might actually be the best farm upgrade, unless your farm is really far away from units, in which case probably improved plow is good. But as you can see, we got over 100 coins that turn, so money isn't really too much of a concern anymore. You can see it's interesting with the gates, all the enemies get funneled into little pockets, so they're easier to deal with. More archers, and I finally get that last bridge, and I really like how the bridge has grass on it. It's kind of cute connecting. Upgrade to the max level. I decided to go for the armory one just because it's great. This one's a little farther back, so I go for ballista because it has increased range. I didn't actually realize that there was a watchtower available for the center of the map, so I just buy it this turn. So hopefully you can get a discount or two before I upgrade it. And then lots of flying creatures, and as you can see, they absolutely body me right off the bat. So as you can see, the time attack's pretty nice, but I'd say that the sword is probably better because you can also do those melee attacks and it has a significantly less cooldown. However, you do get put in more of harm's way, but trade-offs. Going for a lot of tower upgrades. I go for an armory one there, a burning oil there, and then I upgrade my walls to stone. Moving units around, lots of things coming from the south this turn. Put all of my melee units down out in the field so that hopefully we can just kill units as they spawn. And then go for a few housing upgrades because why not? It looks nice. As I wander around, I find a few more things I can spend on, so I say mine as well. And as you can see, the siege rams are actually getting targeted by the Vikings, which is nice because then they don't have a chance to make it to the wall and pretty much like one-shot things. That's really good. We get a couple decent time attacks off, but unfortunately we die. And you can see the burning oil tower going off there, which is pretty cool. I don't know if it's better than the armored tower, especially if you have fire archers already shooting flames, but whatever. Clearing up the last few witches, and that's that. Preparing for the big battle. I wander around, get a few upgrades. Now I'm maneuvering units as per usual. They're spawning from everywhere, so I just spread my units around because while they're coming from everywhere, they don't really have that many numbers. And since I have these great towers right next to the melee units, I think we'll be just fine. I bring all my archers together so it's easier for me to split them up. And I just put a few in each area, and I don't tell them to hold ground, so I give them the ability for them to walk around. And as you can see, these arcane towers are quite nice. The damage is great, but especially the range, because it allows for your towers that are a little bit farther back to actually be useful, and not only kick in when the enemy's already breached your walls. Alright, on to the battle. The spot I'm in right now in the west was the weakest, and the two are connected, so I decided to start off there and see if I can get some reinforcements, kill some enemies so nothing goes awry, and it looks like it's pretty good. That golem has a lot of health, so he's a good damage soak, and then we also have the scarecrows killing the rest of these flying creatures. Big battle, no problem, easy dub. And I'd say that this map might be my favorite. I really like the color palette, I like the trees, and it was fun using scarecrows along with the new Viking units, and the golem was great too. Alright guys, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and good luck!